AITA for refusing to delete photos of my late wife. My new girlfriend wants me to remove all pictures of my late wife from my house. We have a 6-year-old daughter who needs to see her mom. My girlfriend says she can't move forward while living in another woman's shadow. I'm 34M, and I'm sitting in my living room writing this, surrounded by photos of my late wife, Anna. I honestly don't know if I'm being unreasonable or if my girlfriend is asking too much. This situation is tearing me apart, and every time I look at my daughter's face, I feel like I'm failing her somehow. Anna passed away 2 years ago. Cancer. She was 32. We have a daughter together, Sophie, who's now 6. Anna was sick for about 8 months before she died. 8 months of hospital visits, chemo, and watching her fight so hard to stay with us. Sophie was only 4 when we lost her. I remember holding her as she asked why mommy wasn't coming home, and I didn't have words to make it okay. Those months were a blur of fear, hope, and then devastation. Anna was my best friend, the one who made every day brighter, and losing her left a hole I'm still learning to live with. The grief was unbearable, still is some days. It's like a weight that never fully lifts, just gets easier to carry. But I had to function for Sophie, had to keep showing up being her dad, making sure she felt safe and loved even though her world had completely fallen apart. I'd read her stories Anna used to read, keep her routine steady. Anything to help her feel her mom was still part of her life. About 7 months ago, I started dating again. Met a woman named Lisa, 31F, through a friend. She knew I was a widower with a young daughter from the beginning. We took things slow. She met Sophie after we'd been dating for 3 months. Everything seemed fine. Sophie didn't love Lisa, but they got along okay. No big fights, just a kid adjusting to someone new. Lisa moved in with me 2 months ago. Sophie was fine with it, though I could tell she was still figuring out how Lisa fit into our lives. Lisa's never had kids of her own, and I think she's still learning how to connect with a 6-year-old who's grieving her mom. Here's where the problem started. Last week, Lisa sat me down for a serious conversation. She said she needed to talk about the photos. We have pictures of Anna all over the house, on the mantle, on the walls, on Sophie's nightstand, on my dresser, in the hallway. Maybe 15 to 20 photos total. They're not shrines or anything, just normal family photos, Anna with Sophie. As a baby, our wedding photo, Anna at the beach, laughing with ice cream dripping down her hand, regular memories that keep her alive for Sophie. Lisa said living here feels like she's competing with a ghost. That everywhere she looks, she sees Anna, that it's making it hard for her to feel like this is her home too. I said I understood that might be uncomfortable, but these photos are important for Sophie. She needs to see her mom. She's 6 years old. She's already starting to forget things about Anna. The way her voice sounded, her smile, and the photos help her hold on to those memories. Lisa said she's not asking me to throw them away, just to put them in albums that Sophie can look at when she wants. Take them off the walls and out of the common spaces. Maybe keep 1 or 2 in Sophie's room. But that's it. I said no. These photos stay up. This was Anna's home. She picked out half this furniture. She painted Sophie's room that soft lavender color. Her presence is part of this house and part of our lives. Lisa got upset, said she's trying to build a future with me, but she can't do that while living in Anna's house with Anna's things and Anna's pictures everywhere. She said it's not fair to ask her to be okay with constant reminders that she's not my first choice. I told her that's not fair. Anna didn't stop being Sophie's mother because she died. These aren't reminders of a failed relationship. They're memories of Sophie's mom. There's a huge difference. Lisa said she understands that, but there has to be a middle ground. That having this many photos up is excessive and makes it impossible for her to feel like this relationship is moving forward. I asked her if she thought about this before moving in. She said she thought she could handle it, but now that she's living here every day, seeing Anna's face constantly, it's harder than she expected. We've been going in circles for a week. 2 days ago, I came home from work and 3 photos were missing. 1 from the living room, 2 from the hallway. I asked Lisa where they were. She said she put them in a box in the closet, just to see how it felt. I was furious. Told her she had no right to take down photos without asking me. She said she did ask me, and I refused to compromise. So, she was trying to show me that the house could still feel like a home without them. I put the photos back up, told Lisa if she touched them again. We were done. She started crying, said she's trying so hard to fit into my life, but I won't make any space for her. That Sophie has a mother in those photos, and Lisa has nothing. No photos of us, no sign that she lives here, nothing. That hit me weird because she's right about one thing. We don't have many photos together yet. It's only been 7 months, but that's not the same as taking down Anna's photos. Yesterday, Lisa gave me an ultimatum. Either the photos come down and we create a home together, or she moves out because she can't keep living as the other woman in a dead woman's house. Her exact words. I told her if that's how she sees it, maybe she should move out. She packed a bag and went to her sister's. She's been texting me saying I'm choosing a ghost over a living person who loves me. Sophie asked this morning where Lisa was. I said she was staying with her sister for a bit. Sophie said good, which surprised me. I asked why. Sophie said Lisa looks at mommy's pictures with a mean face and she doesn't like it. I hadn't noticed that, but now I'm wondering what else I've missed while trying to make this relationship work. Did Sophie see Lisa's frustration before I did? Was I so focused on moving forward that I ignored how it was affecting my daughter? My friends are split. Some say Lisa has a point, that I need to make room for new love and hanging on to the past isn't healthy. Others say Lisa knew what she was getting into and shouldn't try to erase Anna from our home. My mom says Lisa's being unreasonable and that Sophie needs those photos. My sister says I might be holding on to Anna in ways that make it impossible for anyone new to fit into my life. Lisa's been texting asking if I've thought about what she said, if I'm willing to compromise. She sent me links to beautiful photo albums. We could put Anna's pictures in, like that's a solution. I don't know what to do. I love Lisa, or I think I do, but I'm not taking down photos of my daughter's dead mother to make my girlfriend more comfortable. Am I wrong? Is Lisa asking for something reasonable and I'm being stubborn? Or is she being selfish by asking me to erase Anna from our daily lives? Update, 4 days later. A lot has happened and I need to get this out. Thank you to everyone who commented. Reading the responses really helped me see some things clearly. Lisa came by yesterday to get more of her stuff. Sophie was at school. Lisa wanted to talk. I agreed because I thought we should probably have an actual conversation instead of fighting over text. She started by apologizing for moving the photos without asking. Said that was wrong. Then she said she'd been thinking a lot and she realized she's not asking me to forget Anna. She just needs to feel like she matters too. I said she does matter, but Sophie matters more, and Sophie needs her mom's face in this house. Lisa said she gets that, but asked, when does it become our house and not Anna's house that I'm just staying in? Fair question. Honestly, I didn't have a good answer. I've been so focused on keeping things stable for Sophie that I hadn't thought about what it means to build a new life with someone else. Then Lisa said something that really bothered me. She said, Anna's gone. I'm here. At some point, you have to choose to let go and move forward. I said Anna being gone doesn't mean she stops being part of our lives, especially Sophie's life. Lisa said, but what about my life? What about US? I'm living in a museum to someone I'll never measure up to. I asked her point blank, did you think dating a widower with a kid was going to be easy? Did you think you'd just slot into Anna's place and we'd be a normal family? She said no, but she also didn't think I'd be so unwilling to make changes, that every tradition, every routine, every decoration is exactly how Anna had it. That she's been living here for 2 months and hasn't felt like she could change anything because it might upset me or Sophie. That made me think. She's right that I haven't changed much since Anna died. Sophie's room is still painted the lavender Anna chose. We still make Anna's cookie recipe every Sunday, her handwriting on the card. Guiding us, we still watch the same movies Anna loved. I thought I was preserving Anna's memory for Sophie. Maybe I was just stuck, but then Lisa said, Sophie's going to have to move on eventually. Kids are resilient. The photos could go in her room only, and she'd be fine. That's when I knew this wasn't going to work. I said, Sophie's not moving on from her mother. She's learning to live without her. That's different, and she gets to decide when and if she's ready for changes, not you. Lisa said I was being overprotective and not letting Sophie adjust to new realities. I asked what new realities. Lisa said, the reality that I'm here now, that I could be a mother figure if you'd let me. I told her she could be in Sophie's life without erasing Anna from it. She said she wasn't trying to erase Anna, just make space for herself. I said there's plenty of space. She just wants Anna's space specifically. We went in circles for another hour. Lisa kept pushing for compromise, like moving most photos to Sophie's room or a guest room. I kept saying the photos stay where they are, because they're for Sophie, not me. Finally, I asked her, if I said yes to taking down the photos, what happens at the next thing you can't handle? Anna's wedding ring that I still wear on a chain? The recipe box? Sophie's memories? Lisa said that wasn't fair. I said it's a valid question. Where does the compromise stop? When is enough for her? She couldn't answer that. Or wouldn't. She left with her stuff, said she needed time to think about whether this relationship was viable. I said I needed the same thing. After she left, I sat in the living room for a long time looking at the photos. Anna smiling at our wedding. Anna holding newborn Sophie. Anna at her last birthday, before she got sick, blowing out candles with Sophie on her lap. I cried for the first time in months. Not just for Anna, but for how hard it's been to balance her. Memory with moving forward. My sister came over last night. She brought wine. We talked for hours. She said something that stuck with me. You're allowed to keep Anna's memory alive, but you also have to ask yourself if you're ready to build something new, or if you're just going through the motions of dating because you think you should. I don't know the answer to that. I thought I was ready. Lisa seemed great. Sophie needed to see me happy, but maybe I'm not as ready as I thought. Sophie and I talked this morning. I asked her how she'd feel if some of Mommy's photos went into an album instead of on the walls. She immediately said no, started crying, said she needs to see Mommy's face or she forgets what she looks like. She's 6. She shouldn't have to worry about forgetting her mother's face. The photos stay up. I texted Lisa, told her I thought we should take a break, that I clearly wasn't as ready for this as I thought, and it wasn't fair to either of us to keep forcing it. She called immediately, asked if this was really about the photos, or if I was looking for an excuse to end things. I said, honestly, I don't know, but I do know that I'm not ready to make the changes she needs me to make. She said I'd never be ready then, that I was going to spend the rest of my life stuck in the past, that Sophie was going to grow up thinking her mother was perfect and no one would ever measure up. I said maybe that's true, or maybe I just need more time. Either way, this isn't working. She hung up on me, sent a text later saying she'd get the rest of her stuff next week when Sophie wasn't home. Update, 3 weeks later. Lisa got her stuff. We're done, but things got a lot more complicated than I expected. The day Lisa came for her things, Sophie was at school. Lisa showed up with her sister. They packed everything quickly. As they were leaving, Lisa stopped at the door. She said, "You know what your problem is? You'd rather worship a dead woman than love a living one. Sophie's going to grow up just as stuck as you are." I didn't respond, just closed the door after she left. 2 days later, Sophie's school called. Lisa had shown up during lunch recess and was trying to talk to Sophie through the fence. Sophie had run to get a teacher, scared and confused. My heart sank hearing that. My daughter is scared because of someone I brought in her life. I left work immediately. By the time I got there, the principal had asked Lisa to leave, but she was still in the parking lot, crying, telling the principal she just wanted to say goodbye to Sophie properly. I told the principal that Lisa was my ex-girlfriend and had no relationship with my daughter. The principal said they'd be filing a report and Lisa was banned from school property. Sophie was really shaken up. She told me Lisa had asked her if she missed having Lisa around and if Daddy was sad. My 6-year-old had to deal with my ex interrogating her through a chain-link fence. I felt like such a failure for letting this happen. That night, Lisa started texting me long messages about how she'd made a mistake leaving, how she was ready to accept Anna's photos now, how she just needed me to give her another chance. I blocked her number. The next week, Lisa showed up at the park where Sophie and I go on Saturday mornings. Just happened to be there. Started trying to talk to me about us while Sophie was playing. I took Sophie and left immediately. Then she showed up at my grocery store, at my gym, always with an excuse about why she was there. I filed for a restraining order, got a temporary one immediately. The hearing for the permanent order was last week. Lisa showed up with a lawyer. She contested it. Her lawyer argued she'd never threatened us, and showing up to public places wasn't harassment. My lawyer presented security footage from the school, documentation of her showing up at multiple locations after I'd asked her to stop, and text messages she'd sent before I blocked her. The judge granted a permanent restraining order. Lisa has to stay 500 feet away from me, Sophie's school, and our home. But here's where it got really weird. 3 days after the restraining order, Anna's mother, Susan, called me. My former mother-in-law and I have stayed close. She's Sophie's grandmother. Susan said Lisa had found her on Facebook and sent a long message. Lisa told Susan that I was stuck in the past and asked if Susan would talk to me about taking down Anna's photos for Sophie's sake. Susan was horrified. She told Lisa to never contact her again and blocked her. But then Lisa found Susan's sister and Anna's best friend and 2 of Anna's cousins. She was messaging all of them asking them to convince me to remove the photos. Anna's family was livid. Her brother called asking if I needed help. I said the restraining order was in place and hopefully that would be the end of it. Last week, I got tagged in a Facebook post. Lisa had written this long thing about loving someone who won't let go of the past and posted photos of my house. Photos of Anna's pictures on the walls that she'd taken while living with me. She included commentary about how unhealthy it was and how I was traumatizing Sophie by keeping a shrine. Anna's family saw it. My family saw it. People for work saw it. It was humiliating, like my grief was being put on display for strangers to judge. I reported the post. Facebook took it down for privacy violations. My lawyer sent Lisa's lawyer cease and desist. Her lawyer responded that Lisa was struggling with mental health issues and getting help. That was 4 days ago. Haven't heard anything since. Sophie asked me last night if Lisa was going to keep showing up. I told her no, that there are rules now that say Lisa has to stay away. Sophie said, "Good. She scared me, Daddy. My 6-year-old shouldn't be scared of my ex-girlfriend. That's on me. I moved Lisa in too fast. I ignored red flags because I was lonely and wanted to believe I could find love again." Susan came over yesterday. After Sophie went to bed, we talked for a long time. She said, "Anna would want you to be happy. She'd want you to find love again, but she'd also be furious about someone treating Sophie like that." She's right. Anna would be livid about Lisa showing up at Sophie's school, about Lisa contacting Anna's family, about all of it. Susan also said something that really stuck with me. The right person won't be threatened by Anna's memory. They'll honor it because they love you and Sophie. Final update. 5 months later, It's been 5 months since Lisa and I broke up, and I'm giving a final update because there's actually a resolution now. Lisa violated the restraining order twice. First time, she showed up at Sophie's soccer game. I called the police immediately. She was arrested and spent the night in jail. Second violation was worse. She mailed a package to our house. Inside was a photo album. The kind she'd wanted me to put Anna's photos in, completely empty, with a note that said, "For when you're finally ready to move on." That got her another arrest and a mandatory psych evaluation. Turns out Lisa has some untreated mental health issues that got worse after our breakup. She's getting help now. The restraining order was extended to 3 years. Sophie and I are doing really well. First grade is going great. She talks about Anna all the time. Funny stories, memories, questions like how mommy used to sing her silly songs during bath time. The photos on the walls help her feel connected, and she'll often point to one and tell me a story I'd almost forgotten. I joined a support group for widowed parents. Met some really good people who understand what it's like to navigate dating after loss with kids involved. Here's the unexpected part. I met someone. Her name is Claire. She's also a widow. Lost her husband, David, in a car accident 3 years ago. She has an 8-year-old son, Ethan. We met at the support group 4 months ago. Started talking. Realized we had a lot in common beyond the obvious. Same sense of humor, love of hiking, similar taste in music. Started getting coffee after meetings. Then dinner. Took it really slow. Sophie met Claire and Ethan last month. They got along great, bonded over both having a parent they can't see anymore. It was actually really sweet watching them talk about their lost parents together. Sophie showed Ethan a photo of Anna and said, "That's my mommy. She's in heaven." Ethan nodded and showed her a picture of David on Claire's phone. Claire came over for dinner 2 weeks ago. First time she'd been in my house. She saw Anna's photos everywhere. I was nervous about her reaction, holding my breath as she walked through the living room. She stopped at the mantel, looked at our wedding photo, said, "She was beautiful. Sophie has her smile." Then she showed me a photo of her and David on her phone, said, "This is David. He would have liked you." That's the difference. Claire doesn't see Anna as competition. She sees her as part of our story, part of Sophie's life, part of who we are, weary taking things incredibly slow. No talk of moving in together. No rushing Sophie into anything. Claire gets it because she's been there. She knows what it's like to raise a kid who's grieving, to balance honoring a lost spouse with opening your heart again. Last week, Sophie asked if Ethan could come play. They had a play date yesterday. At one point, Sophie showed Ethan her room. I heard her say, "That's my mommy. She's in heaven now, but daddy says she's still with us." Ethan said, "My daddy's in heaven too. My mom says the same thing." Claire and I just looked at each other. Two kids who've lost parents, connecting over their shared experience. It was beautiful and heartbreaking at the same time. I felt a mix of hope and guilt. Hope for something new. Guilt for how I let Lisa hurt Sophie. The photos are still up. All of them. Claire has never suggested taking them down. She's actually asked questions about Anna. What she was like, how we met, what she loved. She's interested in Sophie's mom because Sophie's mom matters too. Sophie, one night, she even asked Sophie to tell her about the beach photo, and Sophie lit up, talking about how Anna taught her to build sandcastles. That's what Lisa never understood. This isn't about living in the past. It's about honoring the past while building a future. Claire and I aren't rushing anything. We're both healing. We're both parenting. We're both navigating what it means to love again after loss. Maybe it'll work out long term. Maybe it won't. But either way, she respects. That Anna's part of our lives. Lisa's in treatment. I hope she gets better. I don't wish her harm. But she taught me an important lesson about what I need in a partner. I need someone who understands that Sophie's mother being gone doesn't make her less important. I need someone who won't ask me to choose between honoring my late wife and building something new. I need someone who gets that those things aren't mutually exclusive. Claire is that someone, or at least she might be. We're figuring it out together. Sophie's happy. She has her photos of her mom. She has a dad who's present and involved. She has a grandmother who loves her. And she has a new friend, Ethan, who understands what it's like to miss a parent. The photos stay. They've always stayed. They'll always stay. Anyone who can't accept that isn't the right person for us. And I'm okay with that. More than okay. Actually, Anna's been gone for over 2 years. Her face on our walls isn't a shrine. It's family. It's love. It's memory. The right person will understand that. Claire does. And that's the end of this story.